In this video, I'm going to compare the Super Duty engine compartment to the F-150's engine compartment. So, aside from having a V8 in the Super Duty and the V6 in the F-150, F-150 making 375 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque, and the Super Duty making 385 horsepower, 430 foot-pounds of torque, the torque advantage goes to the F-150, ironically, and the horsepower advantage goes to the Super Duty. But there's some interesting differences under the hood. Number one, Super Duty has a much larger radiator, much bigger cooling system, bigger piping, plumbing for the coolant system, bigger, looks like a bigger reservoir. It's hard to tell which one's really bigger, but definitely a bigger radiator, and that is accommodated by a taller front end. F-150 is a little more sleek, a little more sloped down, and the radiator is definitely smaller in the F-150. And F-150 uses electric cooling fans compared to the Super Duty, which has a radiator or a fan clutch, which is it uses a little more energy, but it produces a lot better airflow. When you're carrying a big plow, snow plow that is in front of your truck, your airflow is totally blocked. So without a fan clutch like that, you could run into some overheating issues. I would imagine if you did the same thing with the F-150, your electric fans would roar, but it's not really recommended to plow snow with an F-150. Another difference is F-150 uses a vacuum pump, Super Duty does not. Super Duty's pretty cool. This is an XL trim, and it comes with a really nice light right here. So at nighttime, this really lights it up so you can see the entire engine bay. And F-150s just don't have that as an option. I don't think they have it as an option. This particular Super Duty is equipped with a 240 amp alternator. Ford alternators are really good. I talked to a alternator rebuilding shop back when I had the Super Duty before this. I was thinking about keeping that truck, but I was wondering, how much it would cost to just go through and maybe do the alternator or whatever, because it's under so much load with the snowplow. And that truck was struggling a little bit to keep up with the demands of the snowplow. And the guy at the alternator shop, we tested the alternator on the truck under load, but he said the alternators on the Fords are so strong and robust that it wouldn't be worth rebuilding them. They use the best diodes and whatever it was inside of an alternator. They use the absolute best components, and they're extremely reliable. So, I put a few seasons of snow plowing on my Super Duty alternator with my previous truck. It was only a 220 amp, but it still ran. And I believe on the 150s you can only get like a 220 amp, and it's kind of standard on a higher trim level where there's a lot of heated seats and a lot of electronics. But a lot bigger. I believe it's correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a 200 amp alternator. But the Super Duty, you can go 220 amp, or you can step it up and even go 240 amp single alternator for a gas truck. You can go dual for a diesel truck. But another big difference between a Super Duty and a 150 is the air filter. Look how huge the air cleaner is on the Super Duty. You get this huge cone style air filter. No need for a cold air intake ever on either one of these trucks, but you get a huge air filter right here with the Super Duty compared to the F-150, which just gets a lot less element, a lot less filter element in the you just get the one piece. Still a good design, but not as much material as the 150. Dual batteries is an option on the Super Duty. We got 750 cold cranking amps on each one, but there's two of them, so you got about 1,500 cold cranking amps available, and a lot more reserve capacity. I don't know how long the reserve capacity is, but you got two batteries, which is awesome. Whereas the 150, you just get one big battery. You get 800 cold cranking amps, so it's a bigger battery, but it's not two. It's not as good as having two, I don't think. So yeah, you get two cheaper batteries, but just having this whole dual battery ecosystem, you could upgrade to a better battery than what you have here, a high performance battery or whatever, a higher quality battery, because this isn't the best batteries out there, but you still, just having this architecture to be able to have dual batteries is just good to have. 150, there's no more room under the hood for another battery anywhere. And you do run it, it does run out. You know, the truck tells you with the one battery, if you're just sitting in there, the power outlets do work. So if you're charging up a laptop with the car off, it will charge the laptop until the battery gets too low. But if you just listen to music in your truck for about 45 minutes, the truck's going to tell you that the battery's starting to get low, and it's going to tell you to start the vehicle. Compared to having dual batteries, I've never had that happen with dual batteries. You just have more reserve capacity, more cold cranking amps. And also too, when it comes to plowing snow, having dual batteries and a high output alternator to charge them back up, you're never dimming your lights, you're never running out of power, you're never having that issue. And that was an issue I was having before with my old Super Duty. Plowing snow, the battery would run out of power and the alternator was overworked. So but yeah, what else, what other differences are there? I think that's pretty much it. But it is interesting to see that these very similar trucks from Ford have such different components under the hood. Aside from just the engine, obviously there's no EcoBoost available in the Super Duty, but there's different tools. This is a different tool for a different reason. The F-150 is obviously a light duty vehicle, and there's a lot more aluminum underneath the hood. Ford wasn't lying. Whereas the F-150 really is like an all aluminum setup. The Super Duty uses a lot more steel. For example, these are steel on a Super Duty. On a F-150, they're aluminum, and they're different. They're not just the same exact. This cab is not the same cab as what you find on a 150. It has the same doors and the same windows and a lot of the same parts, but underneath the hood, you know, a lot of the structure is steel compared to under the hood of an F-150. A lot of the structure is aluminum, so more steel is used on the Super Duty for whatever reason. I guess it makes it stronger. I don't know why you need a stronger cab, but stronger cab on the Super Duty, I don't know if steel even makes it stronger. It definitely makes it heavier. The Super Duty is said to only have lost 300 pounds or so by going to all aluminum. But anyway, comment below what you think about this. Hope to hear from you soon. I'll read all the comments and see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.